Michelle's Bachelorette season promo. Hey guys, welcome back. We are going to dive into Michelle's Bachelorette promo, look for as many clues as we could find for what's to come on her season of The Bachelorette. But before we get started, if you're new here, be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell so you don't miss out on any future videos. As always, I am your host, Fiona Zaring, joined by the wonderful Zachary Reality. Zachary, I feel like I already know the answer to this question, but how excited are you for Michelle's season to finally be here?
Michelle's season is going to be amazing. She really is giving us a lot of playful and light energy in the trailer that we're about to go through. And I do want to remind everyone before we even get into these clips, we are going to be detectives today. We are going to be slowing down the trailer. We have these guys' names picked out. We have them in our notes. We're going to figure out a lot of clues to determine if we can find out what drama there's going to be and who possibly is going to make it to the top four. So watch this video, tread lightly, because we're getting the tea straight from this trailer. It's going to be good.
Yes, we are going to be diving into this trailer, really picking out the hidden clues, maybe even leaning towards spoiler territory, you guys. We're obviously not going to go over anything ABC hasn't shown us, but you have been warned. Our detective hats are on. Zachary, let's just get started and dive into these clips. Obviously, at the top, they're going to hype up our girl Michelle, so let's check it out.
I feel super special. Like, how would a girl not feel special?
You've waited long enough. Bring on Michelle Young.
We
Wow.
have waited long enough. First of all, how gorgeous does she look in these clips? It just got me so excited.
She's beautiful. She's so stunning. She really has like a look and a demeanor about her that is very calming. I'm getting a lot of like a calming sense from her. She seems very laid back and like obviously she knows how to dominate a room and take control, but she does it in a more soft-spoken way. And I don't know if we've had a bachelorette like that because I feel like the last few have been very powerful and Michelle is powerful but in a different way. Would you agree with that?
I totally would. I honestly think she's going to bring a whole new energy. Obviously, Katie was an amazing bachelorette, but we've said it before. Katie and Michelle are very different women. So I think this is going to be a really unique season. In these, like this first little montage clips, we're obviously seeing a really amazing like Air Force themed date. But I do want to point out when she is in that neon pink outfit, she's doing some sort of rock climbing date. That is Jamie. He is 32. He is a biotech CEO and world traveler. So he is definitely someone we're going to
Ooh.
see popping up a lot in this trailer. I feel like I get good vibes from him already, even just from this first kiss. I mean, Zachary, this looks like an amazing date.
Yes, and we do know that Michelle's season starts off filming in Palm Springs. I believe they filmed a few weeks there before moving to Minnesota. I'm gonna guess that this is Palm Springs because I'm getting the California vibes that maybe they took like a little day trip for a one-on-one. So I'm gonna put my money on Jamie getting the first one-on-one of the season because it's also the first kind of clip in the trailer. I feel like they're doing it in order in a weird way. So Jamie's gonna be an early front runner in my prediction.
I love it. Keep those predictions coming. We know Michelle is ready for love, and she's going to make that very clear in this next clip. Let's keep going.
I'm ready to fall in love!
Ooh.
Oh my goodness. Of course she is. First of all, I mean, let's just talk about these groups of all of the guys. It feels like her season is going to start off really, really hot. We already saw like an Air Force date. Now we're seeing here a basketball themed date. I mean, Zachary, I feel like basketball is going to be a topic this season almost as much as finding love. A lot of these men have a basketball past. It's not just one. We've got a lot of athletes here.
I know. I remember when we reviewed the guys not too long ago, everyone was an athlete in some way or form. Like there was basketball players, there was baseball players, football players. There's going to be a lot of athletes on this season, and I think that's because Michelle is an athlete. But they also like to put competitive group dates pretty often, especially early on. I wouldn't be surprised if this was like the first or second group date the basketball thing, and then you know what's gonna happen, Fiona. It's gonna be like the losing team has to go home, and then the winning team gets more time with Michelle. And if they're popping champagne, I think we can tell that this team, I guess we'll call them the blue team, is probably gonna win the first like competition, right? And I see a couple front runners here that I know we're gonna get into as well.
Yes, that is actually a really good observation. That is Martin there with the blonde hair. It looks like that's Nate in the back, maybe Spencer. We've got Rodney. These are some guys that if you guys keep your eyes out, we're going to see popping up a lot during this trailer. We know they're going to have some fun with the fact that Michelle is a teacher in group dates as well. Let's check out this next clip to see what they have in store for the teacher side of things.
I'm a teacher, and class is officially in session.
Miss Young is looking for a husband.
That is a great entrance. I'm so curious if those are some of her actual students. It seems like they mean business, which we already saw during Matt's season. The person whose head is popping out there, Zachary, I believe might be Rick. Rick is 32. He's a sales rep from California. He says he's a hopeless romantic and he doesn't play games. He really wants to get married. I mean, this is a really bold
Is
limo
this not
entrance.
him playing games? Like,
Good point.
that's exactly what he's doing. It's pretty risky to come in night one with your head on a platter because we know how long these night one goes. Like, these rose ceremonies last until 3, 4, 5 in the morning. We've seen rose ceremonies like go until the break of dawn. So Michelle's probably hungry. So I think it's really risky that he's putting his head out there. Like, I would be careful if I was him, you know?
Oh my goodness. Do you think he's going to stay committed to being the head on the platter like James was committed to being in the box, or is he going to is he going to come out?
I hope not. I hope that he gets out of the platter. I hope that he will. James was in that box all night long. So I don't think that he will probably be in there. But I guess it's like a funny gimmick. I don't know what the pickup line will be. There has to be like a pickup line with every, night one joke. So can't wait to hear about that. But I think these are her real students, Fiona. I think that they might be because they know her really well. Otherwise, there might just be like a group of actors, maybe childhood actors.
Child actors, and listen, even if they're not her real students, we know Michelle has just like such a strong bond with kids. So I feel like these kids and Michelle work probably so close behind the scenes. I do love all of the teacher themed dates. I hope we see a lot of this because it is such a big part of Michelle's life. We obviously know that she is looking for a soulmate. She is very serious about this process. Let's keep going with these clips to see what she has in store.
I'm looking for my soulmate, my best friend, someone who's going to change the world with me.
This is our journey, Rodney. This is totally.
We heard a name.
My goodness. Yeah, so we heard a name. We actually just saw a lot in there. So first up, we see her on a bike riding date that definitely screams one-on-one. I'm guessing here, but to me, based on the hair, it looks like that is Rodney, who we also saw running naked around what looks like a hotel at the end. He is 29 years old. He is a sales rep from California. He had dreams to go to the NFL that were shattered by a career-ending injury. So now he has pivoted his life. He is looking for someone to spend his life with. He's very serious about finding love. I mean, what are your thoughts on him running around naked there? It almost seems like this was a dare or he got in trouble or something.
I mean, this happened on Claire and Tayshia's season. The guys who lost the dodgeball date had to get naked or something. So I'm sure it was a dare, but then it also looks like he's the only one getting naked. So he definitely lost something. Seems like he's a good sport about it. Obviously, they're going to cover it with the black box. But also, if that was Rodney on that bicycle date, that looks like Minnesota to me with the grass and the whole background right here. This definitely is giving me Midwest Minnesota vibes. And I'm pretty sure they go to Minnesota after like week 2 or 3. So we know Rodney's going to make it a little bit farther. If he's getting a one-on-one date, that's a really good sign to get it towards the middle because then you have some longevity. Sometimes the guys who get one-on-one dates in the beginning get forgotten about. So I think Rodney seems like one of our immediate frontrunners.
I would agree. And even just the way she's calling out to him on that megaphone saying that this is our journey. Like we don't know these people yet. And I already was laughing and like excited to see where this was gonna go. So Rodney feels like one to look out for. That next clip we saw was them like sitting down on skateboards. That is our first glimpse of Brandon J. He's 26. He's a traveling nurse recruiter from Portland. He's very into basketball and he's also very serious about being ready to settle down. He's someone that we're definitely going to want to keep our eyes on based on what we're going to be seeing in some of these later clips. So that's just one to flag, to keep an eye out for. And then that last clip was Alu. He made them jerseys very
Let's see.
similarly to how, of course, Michelle made the jerseys for Matt. He's in a t-shirt, so this doesn't look like a night one surprise, right? This wasn't like his way of making his first impression. What are your thoughts on this move? I feel like it was very smart.
I mean, I would put my money on the fact that he may have done this jersey, gesture during that basketball date. Maybe he won the basketball like competition. It's like the night portion of the date. I think it's very thoughtful. I think he's going to be one to watch this season too. He's not giving me like a winner's vibe. He's giving me more like a sweetheart vibe, kind of like the guy that everyone's going to like fall in love with and then he's going to get broken up with, kind of like the Abigail almost. Like everyone loved her. She was like a fan favorite. She made it far, but not too far where she was like in love with Matt. That's the vibe I'm getting from Alu right now. I feel like they're going to have a great connection, but it's just going to come down to friends. And America's going to fall in love with him because he seems like a teddy bear.
He does. And you know what? He is a former D1 basketball player himself, I believe. So I think they're definitely going to have a lot of fun with that side of their relationship. Definitely one to watch. I love all of your predictions. We have some dates in this next clip. It seems like we're going to get a clue as to what dates they have in store for the season. So let's keep going.
Michelle is this amazing, beautiful, strong black woman. She's so real and so stunning.
Oh my God.
Wow. So
Nice car.
they are going all out. It is a nice car. I mean, truly, you guys, this is starting to feel and look like Bachelorette seasons of the past before we were in bubble land due to the pandemic.
New Mexico.
First up, we saw her with Joe at a baseball game. So this is something that we've had on our radar for a while because obviously this date made headlines when it happened. Joe is 28. He is from Minnesota. He was a basketball player. He really wants to settle down and have a family. Keep your eyes on Joe. Zachary, he is someone that we are seeing a lot of in this trailer. I think it is safe to say that he's going to go far. He's going to be a front runner. I mean, this is a no joke date right here.
Yeah, I remember seeing the pictures of this date, and a lot of people were saying that he's from Minnesota, she's from Minnesota. Maybe they knew each other, maybe they know people in common. Either way, he has a leg up and he has a point of connection with Michelle because they're both from Minnesota, and he's going to be in his element because they film a lot of the season in Minnesota. So I wouldn't be surprised if the two of them form a connection. I don't think it was a mistake that he was even asked to go on this specific one-on-one date. They look really good together. We're going to get more into it in some of these clips, like whether or not they've known each other or not, because that could be a potential storyline. But looking from afar, and they have a lot in common, and I think that he's definitely one to watch.
If we keep going with these clips, we see her with Nate. That might be him giving her a tattoo. That's definitely him and her on some sort of water activity. Nate is 27. He is in sales. He's from Texas. His bio describes him as the life of the party. And he's not only looking for romance, Zachary, he's really looking for passion. Nate seems like a big personality. What are your thoughts on him so far?
I like him. It seems like they're on some type of lake right now. I'm assuming in Minnesota. I like that he's the life of the party. I don't think that has to be deemed as a bad thing. That means he's like an F-boy that wants to party and club. Life of the party could mean that you just like to have fun and that a lot of people like you and gravitate towards you and you bring the energy and the laughs. So that's a really good way to describe yourself. Nate is giving me good vibes. I feel like Michelle really likes him and she's sitting on his lap right now. This is a one-on-one date, probably halfway through the season, if not more. She seems like she's in the driver's seat, which is cool. He's taking a little bit of a step back. So he's going to be a front runner as well. And we have to watch him closely because I don't know. It seems like he might be top three, top four, possibly top five. So it'll be interesting to see how it plays out.
Yeah, definitely based on the other clips of him popping up in this trailer, he's certainly going to be one we will be talking about for a majority of the season. At least that is our gut instinct from what we've already seen. This next clip is another quick moment of that really cool rock climbing date that we mentioned earlier. And then we also see her doing some sort of car racing date with Martin. And Martin is another one who we keep seeing in these clips. He's 29. He's a personal trainer from Miami. He's got lots of passion as well. So Nate's got some competition there. He's got a big family that he's very, very close to, and he wants to bring someone into this life with him. Martin's got a whole vibe going on with the hair, and I mean, this cut off flannel. I feel like he's a little edgier than I thought Michelle
Yeah.
would go for, but they seem to really be hitting it off.
That's honestly the best way to describe it. He doesn't seem like an initial guy Michelle would be attracted to or that they would even vibe because he does seem kind of like a bad boy. And Michelle, I guess, kind of has that reputation of being, the teacher, the straight shooter. So they don't look like they would mesh together based on what we know about them. But clearly, he's going to surprise her because she's taking him on a one-on-one date. He's in this car. Who doesn't love a nice car? I think he might surprise a lot of fans too because he has this tough exterior, but if we get to know him, he could open up more. So I would watch out for him as well. I think he's going to surprise a lot of us.
I definitely agree with you. Let's keep going with these clips. The guys are describing Michelle as a 1 in a billion girl, which honestly feels very accurate. Let's keep going.
Once in a lifetime opportunity for a 1 in a billion girl.
Oh my gosh, this is crazy.
So
She don't miss.
there you have it. A 1 in a billion girl shooting hoops. Looks like it might have been Joe once again that she was shooting hoops with there. And then Zachary, we were just talking about him, Martin on her on what is clearly a one-on-one date. I mean, that screams one-on-one. Actually,
has a
we can see a rose.
Wow.
Oh my God, he's really one to watch.
That could be two one-on-one dates, like one in the beginning and one towards the end, or it could be like a daytime, nighttime portion. But this is cool because we've never seen anyone on The Bachelorette go to like space. Maybe they're in a planetarium. It's bringing me back to when I was in school and we used to go to like see telescopes and stuff. But damn, he has a rose, so he is doing something right. I mean, can we put him in our top like 4? Would that be aggressive? I feel like she likes him. Look at the way her arms are on his back.
No, I am so with you. Especially, I'm thinking back to like when they first released these guys' photos on Facebook for whatever reason. I just thought that's not Michelle's type, but clearly he is one that we need to put our eyes on. I honestly don't think you're too far off. Like, he's definitely going far. That we know for sure. The good news is it seems like Michelle is really into her guys. It feels like they did a really great job casting them. She definitely seems happy in this next clip. Let's keep going.
When I'm with you, you make me feel seen.
I just feel like the luckiest man ever.
He's got brains, he's got beauty, he's got swag. What more could a girl ask?
Wow. So she's saying there, what more could a girl ask for? That is her in her night one dress. So happy to see her. So overjoyed at the start of the process. We pointed out Rick earlier, and that was her kissing Rick. He is 32. Again, he's a hopeless romantic. He's definitely one that we're seeing at least some sort of one-on-one date between the two of them that looks like it's going well. The question is, of course, how far will they go? What are your thoughts on Rick, Zachary? This looks like a pretty romantic date.
I'm not getting good vibes from Rick, actually. I don't really see how Michelle and Rick would connect. Wasn't that also Rick who was like calling the guys out in that other clip right there before, like in the group setting? I feel like he is gonna just be someone that like puts his foot in his mouth almost, like kind of gets involved in a little bit of drama. And,
Okay.
there's always that one guy, and I don't know if it's too soon to say that, but I'm just not getting the best vibes from Rick. He could be one of the villains.
Okay, listen, it's never too soon for a gut instinct. We love it. You heard it here first.
Yeah,
Zachary isn't sure about Rick.
I'm
We'll
not
have to
sure.
keep our eyes out for this upcoming one-on-one. So here's someone who keeps popping up. This is more of Martin. It looks like they might be in a hot tub or something, sipping champagne. These are a lot of I feel like what we need to take note of is this is a lot of activities with him. We saw him doing the car date. It looks like there could be a car in the
But
background. So
this
this could
yeah,
be
this is
the
seems like
end
a
of
car
that
date
date.
too.
Yeah, so
It
then maybe
does.
that planetarium date could be a second one-on-one, right? Because this feels like that might be the end of the day portion of this date. Lots of Martin content. Then we see her jumping into what looks like I think you pointed this out earlier, maybe a lake in Minnesota.
Mhm.
Lots of fun dates they have planned for her. Let's keep going, Zachary, and see what else they have in store.
Ask for. That was the hottest kiss of my life.
You're so good.
You give me goosebumps. I haven't felt goosebumps in years.
When I'm with him, I feel fire.
Lots of dates. Obviously, that was Nate and her kissing there at the top. Then we saw her and Joe in the Ferris wheel. That feels like a one-on-one, if you ask me. And then Rodney pops up again saying he gives her goosebumps. It feels like, Zachary, they're trying to paint a picture here of who her frontrunners are, right? Like we keep talking about the same people. Do you think it's a misdirect? Do you think it's just these guys are going to go far and it is what it is? What's your take?
I think that they do this on purpose to let us know which guys we need to look out for. A lot of people don't really watch the trailer and dissect it the way that we are doing right now and the way that people like Reality Steve are doing it. And if you really dissect the trailer, you take notes, you pause. I think that's kind of the reason why people find out spoilers because Bachelor spoilers are no joke. They're on the internet, they're literally everywhere. And this is why, because the trailer, the teaser gives so much away. And if you can spot out locations and outfits, you really can tell which few guys are going to make it far and which few guys are going to get into drama. And I don't know who this is right now, but this looks like a very intense conversation. And I would not be surprised if this was like a 2-on-1 or something because this just does not look right.
That is Rodney telling her that she gives him goosebumps. So definitely that is quite
Hmm.
the sentiment there. Lots to keep our eyes on. Let's keep going with these clips.
I'm on cloud 20,652.
The more time that I spend with her, the more I realize she could be
Oh my goodness. Okay, so here we have who we already know as our next bachelor, but let's unpack all of these little clips, all these little moments. So at the very beginning, we did see her on a pizza date. That is with Peter, and he is the self-described pizzapreneur. He's 26, he's from Florida, he's a hopeless romantic. He has his own pizzeria. That is his whole world. Looks like a one-on-one activity here.
Peter's from Long Island, which is where I'm from. He is a classic, New York Italian that loves pizza, probably loves his family. He's probably a great guy with good morals. I don't know if you want to stereotype every New Yorker that's Italian, but I don't know how he's going to fare with Michelle. I feel like they come from two very different worlds, but I love that he's in his element here because if he makes pizza, if he owns a pizzeria, he's probably going to really shine here. And this is where Michelle's really going to get to know him. And if she gives him a rose after seeing him in his element, that's a really good sign. But this also might be an opportunity for her to see him in his element and be like, maybe he's not the one for her, because that's what happens when you see
Mm.
someone really doing their thing, like where they shine. So this date is probably going to be really telling, but I think he's going to get a one-on-one or at least pull her away for something. And I appreciate that he's putting an effort and making an effort with Michelle to show who he really is.
Yeah, those are some really great points. It's definitely always special when a contestant can really bring whoever is the bachelorette into their world. Not everybody has the opportunity to do that. So definitely good point. We are seeing this next moment is a fireworks kiss, and that is Joe. And as cheesy as it may be, if there are fireworks involved on The Bachelorette, that is a pretty telling sign of a successful one-on-one date. Now, we also saw Joe and her playing baseball, so this could be obviously the same date. This could be multiple dates. I mean, I don't know if we've talked about anyone so far as much as we've talked about Joe. What do you make of this, Zachary?
This is so romantic with the colors. It looks beautiful. What a backdrop. It could be the same date as the baseball date because maybe this is at a stadium. But we do know that Michelle goes to Mexico the last few weeks. And this could also be in Mexico because I'm getting a very type of magical background. I don't know if it's just the smoke, but they're wearing white as well together. Why are they matching? Was this planned? She's really all into Joe. It's obvious that she likes him a lot. And I can't wait to see some of these clips because I don't know if Joe is going to be everyone's favorite in the house.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be interesting to see. We know that front runners, that doesn't always mean that they're loved by the men. That doesn't always mean that they make it all the way till the end. They could be giving us a lot of Joe clips just to throw us off. Got to stay on our toes. Of course, we have to talk about Clayton. At this point, we all know he is our next Bachelor. Some of his backstory, if you're not all up on Clayton yet, he's from Missouri. He's a medical sales rep. His mom is a teacher like Michelle, so we expect that they're definitely going to bond over that. He says he's looking for someone funny, independent, intelligent, and athletic enough to join him at the gym for a workout. So we know Michelle checks all those boxes. We know he's obviously going to have to go far enough to become our next Bachelor. What are your thoughts on Clayton, Zachary, given that, I mean, let's face it, we know it's not going to work out.
We know it's not going to work out. And I honestly think that this clip of him in the teaser and just the teaser as a whole gives us everything we need to know. I don't think Clayton is going to be a real contender. A lot of people were worried that it's going to spoil the season because we know that Clayton has to go far enough to make an impression, to make us fall in love with him if he's going to be our next Bachelor. However, knowing now that they made Matt James the next Bachelor when we didn't know him too well, I think it's very possible that we might not get to know Clayton as well as we would normally know a Bachelor. I don't think Clayton's going to the top 4. I think that he's getting a one-on-one date and possibly even getting sent home on the one-on-one date. I think this is a one-on-one date that probably happened around 8 or 6 people left, and I think that is when Clayton is going to leave on that date. And that's just my prediction.
Interesting. I love it. Take notes, everyone. Zachary, your predictions tend to be spot on, so we will have to keep a close eye.
And I don't read spoilers. I don't read them. I just feel like I've been watching this show for so long that I feel like I know the archetypes and I know where they cast people in the dates, that this is why I'm just logically putting my prediction the way it is.
Yes, well, I definitely, can vouch that you don't do any spoilers. So if this ends up being true, it's just because you are so spot on. We love it. Let's keep going with these clips. We know that love is going to be in the air.
Be the one.
Oh my goodness, I'm falling in love with this woman.
Heart is literally on fire. I'm in love with it.
All right, so starting
Clayton
at the
again.
top of that clip, we have her in the sky, and that is Rick, once again, the one who didn't necessarily give you the best vibes. Now,
Oh, I
I'm
know.
curious where we think this is taking place. Is that Minnesota, do you think, Zachary?
This is giving me like an exotic location. I can see this being in Mexico. I have not spent any time in Minnesota, so I have no idea if this is like a park in Minnesota. I bet you all the people from Minnesota will know where this is. But this is giving me later in the season, and we know that Michelle is going to Mexico with only the last few guys. I'm pretty sure only 3 guys. So this is making me think that Rick might go farther than I would like, because I already have a problem with Rick apparently. So I think that this could be Mexico and that Rick is going far. I mean, we've been seeing Rick a lot. So Rick is also one to watch, and Rick is smitten by Michelle. I think Mexico. What do you think?
Okay, so Rick might have to turn it around for you during the season if he is going to be going far.
Yeah.
Or, Zachary, this gut instinct you have, he's going to be our big villain, and we are not going to be happy to see them on this date. But yeah, he is someone who keeps popping up. You brought up Mexico. We know that's going to be the very end of her season. And they did. I mean, this is them putting basically a spoiler just straight in the trailer for us. We see her riding horseback with Brandon J. And I'm sorry, but if that's not the beach in Mexico, I don't know what is. Would you agree, Zachary?
Looks like paradise. It looks exactly like Bachelor in Paradise, but really bringing us back. They just film so much in Mexico. I mean, they can't film like around the world. Maybe they will be able to leave like, North America for Clayton season, which is filming right now, but they can't go too far. So this is definitely Mexico. This is definitely top 3 moment. So if you're saying, who is this? This is definitely someone that is going to the top 3.
Yeah, this is Brandon J. So we have seen him
Okay.
a lot throughout this trailer. We've definitely only gotten quick snippets, and I think that's because he is someone who is going far. That kiss going on in the bubbles looks like that is Michelle and Joe. Possibly in
Joe.
a prom setting. Obviously, we see she's wearing a corsage, and at the end of the trailer, again, we're going to see some sort of prom date. They're really into prom and 80s prom and bringing
Wait,
back the prom
yeah.
vibes lately. Producers
Is
are really
this-
into that.
Do we think it's a one-on-one date with Joe for the prom? Because I wouldn't be surprised if Joe threw the prom date as like a hometown date. Because if Michelle and Joe possibly grew up together from Minnesota or maybe new people, and Michelle said she didn't like prom, I think it's very possible that Joe and Michelle are redoing like a prom in Minnesota. So I think Joe's gonna make it to the top 4, and she seems like she really likes him. This is gonna be definitely a storyline.
I mean, if you just look, if you hone in on the look on her face there while she's kissing him, she looks so in love. I have to say, I think you could be onto something because they are the only 2. Now, granted, this could just be the way they edited it, but they're the only 2 that we see in this bubbles and prom setting. So it definitely could be a one-on-one, definitely could be hometowns vibes. He is a name that we cannot stop talking about. This is another kiss with Clayton, and then another shot of that adventure rock climbing date that they have really sprinkled throughout this trailer. That means, I believe it's Jamie. He's either one to watch or they are just really making the most out of this date that they set the 2 of them on.
This is the first one-on-one date. This is clearly Palm Springs. Jamie probably won't even make it that far because we haven't seen him in other parts of the trailer. So I wouldn't be surprised. And that's what I said. Sometimes people get these first one-on-one dates and they really get lost in the mix because then you focus on your other connections and those grow. So I think we're going to see that storyline with Jamie. I think he's going to have a really strong start, and I think he's going to fade out because we're not seeing him in some of these later clips.
No, we're really just seeing this rock climbing date over and over and over again. So that is a great point.
And it looks like a really fun date. I love the hot pink, jumpsuit jogger situation that she has going on. She looks cute.
So cute. Definitely agree with you. Does look like it'll be a fun date. Michelle seems to think she has the best guys ever, which I know all of us watching at home will love. So let's check out this next clip.
Man, these are the best guys I've met in my entire life.
Wow, so a lot to unpack there. Of course, that is another kiss with Clayton that we saw up top. Now we are here on the beach. Zachary, this is Brandon J and her. I mean, they're riding horseback. Now they're having what looks like maybe a picnic on the beach. This is a very romantic date.
And this is a very romantic position. They are so into each other. Obviously, if we know Michelle is in Mexico with her top 3, and if you made it this far, I mean, it seems like Brandon is going to the top 3 along with Nathan, who is also going to be in our next type of slot. But I love a picnic on the beach. That's such a fun date. And there's so much passion between them right now. They look really hot together.
They do. I mean, they look like an absolutely stunning couple. This next shot is her kissing who we definitely think is Nate. Kind of in the shadows. It almost feels like maybe they ran off. Maybe they're trying to have a private moment, really have one of those serious conversations that tends to happen in the shadows when they're trying to get away from the cameras. I mean, Brandon J and Nate are 2 people that almost feel like neck and neck from this trailer so far. Definitely some guys to watch. Let's keep going because, of course, it would not be a Bachelorette season trailer without some major drama. It looks like going to be drama right from the get-go, maybe even night 1 drama. Let's check out this clip.
We found something that was actually really alarming. Someone is planning out their every move.
Oh my God.
I forgot that Tayshia and Caitlyn were even on the season.
Caitlin and Tasha, yes, they will be here. They will be hosting. We will see them. And it looks like this is night one. I mean, we can tell from her dress, they're giving her some very bad news. Then we cut to that, like, I'm just going to say it, like serial killer style folders, charts. It seems like there may be a super fan definitely in it for the wrong reasons. I mean, I don't know if we've ever seen anything like this before, Zachary.
This just seems really producer planted. This seems like a completely fake, contrived storyline to bring drama to the first episode. We kind of saw that this probably happened on night one, and Caitlin and Tasha, I feel like, got a script. They were like, this is what you need to do. I think this is a fake storyline, and we can like believe it and have fun with it, especially when it airs, but I'm not getting, authenticity from this whole situation. This seems ridiculous.
So you think producers planted this on someone, or you think they coached someone that like they should do this and just teed them up to get in trouble?
A little bit of both. I think somebody was probably a little crazy, and then I think producers egged it on and made it into this whole thing. Or producers literally just printed out notebooks and hired an actor. I wouldn't put it past them. They're always looking for new ways to start drama, especially earlier on in the season. If you ever like see The Bachelor, there's always so much drama the first half of the season, and then the second half is all about the love. So I wouldn't be surprised if we were getting this to kind of bring in viewers and get them hooked for the first couple of episodes.
Interesting. Well, we will have to see how it plays out, but this is not going to be the only drama of the season. There is also a narrative that Michelle may have known one of the contestants, and obviously that's going to rock the house. Let's check out this next clip.
A lot of the guys are questioning that. You might have known him before here.
He said he doesn't know her, but there's something he's not telling all of us.
Do you think they had a previous relationship?
So that is Jamie from the rock climbing date telling Michelle that the guys are questioning her. That was Brandon J looking nervous, which could just be a misdirect. That's Rick there looking all sweaty. And then it's Clayton at the end saying that there's something he's not telling all of us. So it's interesting that we know that Clayton is going to be involved in exposing or asking, questions regarding Michelle being honest with the guys. What do you think of all of this, Zachary?
I mean, I think that's okay if Clayton gets involved in the drama a little bit. We saw Katie get involved into a lot of drama during that season, and she still ended up being the Bachelorette. I think sometimes you have to get involved in the drama, especially if you want camera time. This is a very competitive show. But I think my theory is that the guy, Joe from Minnesota, might be the one that everyone thinks Michelle knows before the season. And it doesn't have to be an issue if she's maybe known of somebody. I'm sure it could be seen as a threat. It could be a little unfair considering everyone else is a stranger. But I don't think it has to be like that big of a deal if they didn't form a connection or were dating before. Maybe they just knew each other loosely. But we still don't know who anyone's talking about. And I don't think that we want to put Michelle in a bad light, or the producers would want to put Michelle in a bad light. So it can't be that serious. It's not like a Brendan and Piper situation where they were like talking before they went on to the TV show.
No, absolutely not. And I mean, think about it. If it's someone from like her childhood, right? Even someone who went to like the same high school or the same college as her, if there's not a true romantic exploration, like if they didn't go on dates or like really try out a connection before the show, I really don't think there's anything to be too threatened by or too upset about. But the smallest things can make these guys insecure, really cause the house to get up in arms. And Zachary, let's just touch on this moment here with Brandon J. He obviously looks stressed out. He looks concerned. That could be for 100,000 different reasons at any point of the season. But I'm curious, feels like they're almost teeing him up in the clip to be who these guys are talking about, which we don't necessarily think is going to be the case. But do you think that this fake out, potentially putting him as a guy that the other guys are concerned about, could just be another clue that he's going really far?
I mean, I think if he's a front runner and he's going far, his guys are going to be concerned about him. Everyone gets questioned when you get into the top 3 or 4, and everyone gets jealous of all the front runners. And we know that Brandon is going to be a front runner. He looks worried here, and I don't know where he is because he's clearly inside, so we can't even pinpoint a location. But I don't think that he's the one, because my theory is that it's Joe, the one that everyone thinks that Michelle knew before the season. So yeah, they always do fake outs in editing, and it works sometimes. It definitely sways us. But he's upset about something, and we don't know what it is, but everyone's going to be upset at least once in the process.
Yeah, I mean, let's face it, this is an incredibly stressful, draining process. There's not going to be a season where we don't get some shot that looks like this of literally every single guy. What's interesting is in addition to the potentially knowing someone from home storyline, it looks like another dramatic storyline is going to almost be like Greg from Katie's season, that possibly there is another actor among our midst. Let's look at this next clip.
Relationship?
Nate is a player.
You're an actor, and you've come on a reality TV show.
What are you talking about?
It seems like there's a rat in our midst.
I'm gonna keep exposing.
Oh,
So
no.
interesting. It looks like that could be Clayton calling Nate out. I mean, they could be in two completely different rooms, two completely different scenes, and it's just editing. But what are your thoughts on this last clip?
I think they're in the same room, Fiona. I think it's the same scene. It's interesting because I feel like Nate, we know he's one of the front runners. We know he's most likely going to Mexico. Probably is going to make it to the top 3. So I hope Michelle knows what she's doing when she's giving him roses each week, because if he is this type of guy that Clayton is claiming him to be, if he is an actor, if he's not here for the right reasons, I'm hoping Michelle can sniff that out sooner rather than later, because it's nice to have some of those guys around to make the season more interesting. But when it gets down to the nitty gritty, when you're at the top 3 or 4, you want to make sure that your guys are genuine, authentic, and real. But Nate doesn't seem to be too flustered. He's like, what are you talking about? And I think he's going to defend himself. And it's possible that they are putting a false narrative on him. Sometimes they tend to do that. You know, sometimes we tend to assume things about people that aren't true if we don't give them a chance. So we want to give him the benefit of the doubt before we just put this all on him right off the bat.
Yeah, and I mean, I believe, might be wrong, but I think it's sales, right? Is what his profession is, from Texas or something. So he's definitely not like saying he's an actor. So it'll be interesting to see how this narrative begins, why it even comes up at all. It also looks like these two are matching right now, which could just be guys like to wear blue t-shirts, could have something to do with maybe they're coming off of a group date where they're all wearing the same thing. Definitely a moment to look out for this season for sure. Aside from these like overarching suspicious narratives, we know there's going to be drama between the guys. We know that there are going to be some guys who do not get along, and we're seeing some of that in this next clip. Let's take a look.
Keep calling you out. Why won't this guy shut up? You're a clown. You're a clown. You need to keep your mouth shut.
You're not the big dog. The big dog has a jacket.
Okay.
So this stems from, we saw Peter saying that he is going to expose Will. So that's Peter, our pizza guy in the pink, and Will, who we haven't seen much of so far, in that brown orange shirt. Will is 28. He's an academic interventionist. He, in his bio, says he's classy, swaggy, and sharp, and that he is a true romantic. But these two are really going to be going at it. Another guy that looks like he might be involved sort of peripherally in the drama, he's over it, was LT. He's the one saying, why won't this guy shut up? He's 38, so one of our oldest guys, and he is a yoga guru. This doesn't necessarily seem to be drama regarding Michelle even. These just look like two guys to me who don't like each other, like a Noah and Bennett situation almost.
I don't know. I kind of trust Peter. My gut is telling me that Peter is like calling him out on his stuff, and he's like right about it. I don't think Peter is the type of guy that wants to get involved in drama for no reason. And this is probably going to happen earlier in the season than later. So at least we're getting this out of the way. But we like the drama. That's why we watch the show. It's not all about the love. So I'm glad that we're getting at least one scene, because this is the first like scene where there's like a real confrontation. So, and it looks like it's going to be on a group date. So I can't wait to see it go down. I'll have my popcorn ready.
Same. Absolutely agree with you. Let's keep going with the next clip.
Just took his jacket? How you like me now? It looked dirty, so I figured I'd give a little back. This man just really pushed my...
Oh,
That's not nice.
My goodness. I mean, listen, the popcorn, all I can say is I'm with you. We got to get the popcorn ready. I'm going to be looking forward to this drama. I agree with you, though. It does look like it's going to be early in the season. We're seeing a lot of guys on that group date. This might not bode well for them. It feels like there's some nonsense involved with the jacket in the pool, and Michelle's pretty no nonsense.
This is not okay. Like that poor jacket. I hope it wasn't expensive. He's gonna have to buy him a new jacket, and whoever threw the jacket in the water, or the pool, because we couldn't really tell by the shadow. That person is not. It's not a good look. Michelle's not gonna like that, and I don't think it's a flex. But maybe it will start a trend, like throwing jackets in pools. It could.
Definitely one way to get someone's goat. Listen, we said Michelle's not gonna like the drama, and whether it's related to this drama or not, we don't know. But in this next clip, we do see Michelle having some doubts. Let's keep going.
What?
I just feel unseen.
She feels like she's not appreciated.
I can't keep giving and giving and not.
So she is definitely struggling here. There's a lot that we can kind of make of this. That was Chris S. saying she feels like she's not appreciated. He is a commodities broker. He's from the South, but he now lives in California. He's one of our like younger-ish guys. We have seen a couple of clips of him, not too many. What I want to focus on more is her having that conversation with someone saying she feels like she's giving and giving and giving and not getting anything back. Because to me, Zachary, that feels like a serious sit down with a front runner, someone who Michelle has had her eyes on that she really wants it to work with. But maybe it's just not going to. What do you make of this?
I think this is a breakup. I think that she's breaking up with somebody. And I think it's going to be okay because we see a breakup every season. You know, every season we see a dramatic meltdown from a Bachelorette. I don't think Michelle's is going to be as dramatic as Katie's was in New Mexico when with the whole Greg breakup. Remember, we were teasing that where she was like, I want to go home. Like that was being teased for so long. This is probably Michelle's like meltdown because she's just so incapable of giving one. I guess she's just so classy and mature. So I think she's breaking up with someone. I think she's had enough. And I think it's going to be okay. I think she has to break up with people throughout the process. But I think it's going to be one of those breakups that happens later on in the season. And she seems really disappointed. She seems like she was giving more than she was getting back. And that's the worst feeling.
Yeah, it absolutely is disappointing, especially because if she's giving and giving and giving, right? Like that means she's committing time to whoever this person is. And we all know that time in Bachelorette land is everything. So the worst thing a bachelorette can feel is like she's invested, she's given out some of that precious time to someone who's just not meeting her where she is, who's maybe not ready for the process. My heart is already breaking for her. I cannot wait to see who this is and how it plays out. Let's keep going with this next clip.
The situation is deeper than what's being told. You can only keep them in the act for so long.
If you keep shoving things under the rug, they don't just disappear.
I love this dress.
So, literally stunning in this pink dress. Obviously, sad to see her crying, but she looks gorgeous while she's doing it. There is something telling about what she's saying there as well. You can't just shove things under the rug. It feels like maybe a conversation that she or one of the contestants has been trying to avoid is finally going to happen in this moment or on this night. I want to look at, that was Alu and Brandon J in the ring. And obviously, I mean, with the looks on their faces, they're ready to kill each other. This could be some sort of competition where they have to look tough. Those are another two people who maybe we want to keep an eye on, potential drama brewing between the two of them.
Do you see who that is in the background? That is Nikki Bella, the Bella twins, which means that they're probably coming in to host a group date, like a boxing group date, or because we know that Nikki do boxing or wrestling or MMA fighting or something like that. So I think this is one of the earlier group dates, and this is just like for the group date where they fight. I don't think they're like actually fighting. But damn, nice celebrity spotting. I'm glad we were able to pause this because I can exactly tell who that is.
Yes, we love to see when they bring in celebrities to lead group dates. Hopefully they have a lot of fun stuff in store. I do also want to talk about, we got a quick shot here of Michelle crying on the beach. Now, we have to assume this is probably the beach in Mexico. We know Mexico is coming at the end. It's obviously tough for whoever the Bachelorette is once we reach those final tough decisions that they have to make. What are your thoughts on her crying here, Zachary?
I mean, she's going to have to break up with someone at the end, and it's going to have to be dramatic. It's going to have to be emotional. I hope that she's breaking up with someone and she's not getting broken up with. But even if she was doing the heartbreaking, it would make sense why she was crying. So maybe she's just upset that she's letting someone go. But this is definitely going to happen towards the end. There's no beaches in Minnesota. There's no crystal blue beaches in Palm Springs. That's where the desert is. So it's going to be an emotional ride for her all the way until the bitter end.
Yeah, it is. And you know what? I almost like am encouraged. This is gonna sound so harsh by her crying here, but it just means that if she is breaking up with someone, right? Or even if someone is breaking up with her, that she has made multiple serious connections. It's almost like you want it to be difficult at the end because that means whoever is going to be the last man standing really has a super strong connection, one that was worth fighting for. Let's keep going with these clips. We're actually nearing the end.
To my future soulmate. Finding love hasn't really been easy for me. I was never the girl invited to.
Wow. So this is Michelle reading a poem, clearly some sort of group date activity. Maybe the guys are going to have to read her poems as well. We just got a couple of quick flashes here, but it looks like we saw her hugging Alu, kissing Rodney. I mean, she's going to make a lot of connections this season.
It looks like she's actually saying goodbye to Alu in this hug. It looks like, because I told you earlier, I was like, I think she's going to send him home. He's going to be like the teddy bear of the season. So it looks like she's actually breaking up with him, which is really sad. But this poem is going to be carrying us until our next couple of clips. I think it's from a group date. I love when they do a poem group date because it really gives everyone the opportunity to say their feelings. It's almost easier to share your feelings in a poem or a song sometimes. It's like a way of therapy. So I'm glad that Michelle is participating in it. And it's so dramatic. And I can't wait for everyone to like see the clips if they haven't yet. It's just the poem gets so dramatic the way they're putting it in with the music and the trailer and everything. Typical Bachelorette season.
So typical. And I have to say, if we go back to that clip of her hugging Alu, I think you're really onto something. If you guys pay attention to just up above his head, that wallpaper, if I am not mistaken, we're going like true FBI detective here with this theory, but if I'm not mistaken, that was the same wallpaper as her in the shot saying she feels like she's giving and giving, but not getting anything in return. Now, again, just could be they're in a hotel setting, they're, using the same rooms for multiple things, but I wanted to flag because we like to pay attention to the little details. All right, Zachary, with that being said, let's keep going. We got a couple more clips.
Cute dates at the apple orchard in the fall. I was the girl picked last for prom, but the first for basketball. It was like there was nobody like me.
You're so right about the way they edited this poem, Zach. I love it. That looks like her and Rodney, maybe her and Nate on the apple orchard picking date, which she says she's never gotten to go on. Again, that shot of her and Joe at prom that we talked about earlier, that might also be them playing basketball. And then that is her kissing Will, someone we know is going to be involved in the drama during that Air Force themed date, which definitely looks like it's occurring very early in the season. What do you make of all of these clips? We're getting a lot of flashes of some big moments.
Well, I don't like Will. I feel like he is trouble and he's going to be a villain. He's going to be a big personality. So I'm not super into Will right now, but she might have a thing for him for a quick little second. But I love the prom date. I love the basketball. I mean, Joe is like such a good guy for her. I feel like she's really going to like him because he's hitting those sweet spots. He's making an effort to like make up for her prom and like take her to the basketball court late at night. Like that's so romantic. It's sometimes those little moments that bring you nostalgia are just more romantic than an apple orchard date or like a date, horseback riding in Mexico. So, I mean, my takeaway from this clip is that we really need to watch out for Joe. And I also think it's just getting so intense with her reading the poem. We're really just seeing the most like vulnerable side of Michelle. So I can't wait to see that actual scene where she does recite the poem in full.
Yes, absolutely. And we're seeing Will, who I'm with you. We don't necessarily like wearing what looks like some sort of Air Force jacket. He's getting some one-on-one time with her on this date. Perhaps this is the earlier part of the day, and then later in the night, that jacket is going to be the one that ends up in the pool. Who knows? Just little details to pay attention to. Let's keep going because I believe we're going to be seeing Brandon J maybe crying in this next clip.
Therefore, there was nobody to see me. I can no longer trust you. Hey, soulmate, if you're listening.
So that was Brandon J
Uh-oh.
crying. Maybe we got a little bit of Nate crying. Maybe we even got Spencer crying. We haven't even talked about Spencer that much. It's going to be some tears this season, Zachary.
There's gonna be a lot of tears. Everyone's gonna be crying, but Michelle saying, I don't know if I could trust you. I wonder who that is about and what that person did because Michelle clearly has had it if someone lost her trust. So this is Spencer crying on the couch. I mean, maybe Michelle can't trust Spencer. Maybe he is the guy that she can't trust. The pillows look pretty though. I like the yellow.
Oh my goodness. Yes, you could be onto something. And before we even move on, we just have to take a second to talk about her. This is clearly waves crashing behind her. She is in Mexico. She is on her way to the final rose ceremony, looking unbelievably gorgeous in this white sequin dress. How are you feeling? What can we make of her face in this moment? Like, is she gonna walk away happy at this final ceremony? I'm already on the edge of my seat. What do you make of this quick glimpse they're giving us here?
What an entrance. It's giving me very much like Ariel, the Little Mermaid vibes, how she's like coming up through the water with the waves crashing. It's very dramatic, very slow motion. It looks like it's going to be a nice setup. She's carrying her heels because she won't wear them on the sand. She won't be able to get anywhere. But she looks beautiful. I hope she gets engaged. I really hope that it all works out and that she finds the one at the end of it and it's all worth it.
I couldn't agree with you more. Zachary, we have done it. We have reached our final clip. This is our last clip, last chance for clues from this season trailer. So let's give it a whirl.
You'll need to understand, in my heart of hearts, all I've ever wanted is love. And I hope you can be that man.
A brand new season.
Chills.
October.
So many chills. Okay, so first up, we're going off of silhouettes here, but this looks like Joe. It looks like it could be Mexico. Just a
Or
clip
Palm
of
Springs.
somebody looking stressed, right? Now, if we keep going, I believe that is Rodney we see crying. And if you look carefully, Zach, on the edge of the frame, tell me that's not Joe sitting with Rodney as he's crying.
Mhm. That is definitely
I
Joe,
mean,
who we know is going very far. I think Joe and Nathan might be my top two because we've seen them a lot in the trailer. They seem like they both have storylines. They're going to be involved in some type of drama based on who knew Michelle before the show. And then Nathan was being called out by Clayton in one aspect. So if those are the final two, if my hunch is correct, they both have a little bit of drama and a sob story. So that's not really good. So it's going to be a dramatic season.
It is going to be a dramatic season. I want to call it right now. I feel like this shot of Michelle in this beautiful dress, clearly rose ceremony dress vibes, crying. We're going to be seeing this, I feel like, a lot this season and a lot of teasers. What she's crying about here, I think we're going to be continuing to investigate as the season goes on. Obviously, Zachary, we knew at some point Clayton was going to be upset because he can't win. He's going to go on to be the Bachelor. So this moment right here is just a shot of him crying, but it could be the end for him.
Well, as I mentioned, because you kind of said that it's not a rose ceremony, I said that he might get sent home on a one-on-one date. So I think that he might be crying because he's getting sent home. But I mean, are we going to feel bad for him? He's the next Bachelor, which we know in advance, which is why it's annoying that he was announced the Bachelor before we got to see him heartbroken, because now I'm not going to feel bad for him when he gets heartbroken. I'm going to be like, okay, well, he has 25 girls in a mansion right now. He's fine. He's living his life. So it kind of takes away from that aspect of the season a little bit.
Yeah, it will be interesting to watch their love story play out, having that in the back of our minds. Overall, Zachary, I feel like we have a wild season in store for us. I think we're going to see Michelle make a lot of very strong connections. I don't think it's going to be easy for her when it comes to the end to make up her mind. Let's go over some of those major predictions we have, because you've picked out some front runners. We have a feeling on who's going to make it far. Who would you say your ones to watch are after this investigation we've done with this trailer?
I think that some of the guys we need to watch are obviously Joe. He's going to be throwing the proposal prom thing for her, so that's going to be a whole moment. But Brandon, we also saw on the horses with Michelle in Mexico, and it seems like Nate is all over this trailer. So I would put them possibly as my top three. We've been talking a lot about Rodney throughout the trailer, so we're going to have to watch him. Martin is going to come out of the gate strong. We saw him in the hot tub, in the car, but I don't think he's going to make it past like hometowns as far as like who's going to Mexico, because we've kind of seen, we can tell by the beach. It's not like there's beaches everywhere else. So there is definitely a few guys that we need to watch. And then Rick, who also has been a lot in this trailer. I mean, he's not my favorite, but he's around and he could be making it to top 4, top 5. So we need to watch out for him as well. And it's going to be a really good season. I feel like there's some promising drama. There's some promising confrontation, some storylines, some detective stuff with Caitlyn and Tasha. The jacket in the pool is going to be a moment. It's going to be a pretty well-rounded, good season, and I'm excited to see the travel, the Mexico, Palm Springs, Minnesota. I've never been to Minnesota, so I'm excited to learn more about Michelle and just see the whole season.
I couldn't agree with you more. I think all of those names are definitely ones to watch out for. I think Michelle is going to absolutely kill it as a bachelorette. Based on what we've seen, we're going to have the drama, the romance. I don't think it's going to be an easy decision for her at the end. You guys, we are obviously so excited. We are counting down the minutes until her October 19th premiere. Hopefully, through combing through all these clips, maybe you guys found some things to look out for that we didn't even notice. So be sure to jump down in the comments. Let us know your predictions. Let us know what clues you are paying attention to from this trailer. And you guys, if you are not already subscribed to our channel, make sure you do. Make sure you ring the bell because we're going to be talking all things Michelle all season long. As always, I am your host, Fiona Zaring, joined by the wonderful Zachary Reality. You can check out our socials on the screen right now. Thank you all so much for watching, and we will see you guys next time. Bye.
Bye.